days. Ladies, how are you, my wonderful girls? Lovely to see you on this fun Thursday morning. Let's call it Fun Thursday. I'm just going to set up the stuff in the background as we do so I can see all your comments, etc. We are here today to do our business members spotlight interview, which is where we come live every single Thursday to interview one of you beautiful members so you can share all about your business and how you got into it and, you know, how you might be able to help other members in this group. Today, we have the amazing Tamara Speedie with us. Welcome, Tamara. Yay! Lovely to have you with us, beautiful one.
Oh, thanks for having me, Ali. I feel so blessed to have been invited.
I am very, very excited to find out all about you and your business today. So without further ado, let's get into it. So tell us, Tamara, what you do and how you did get into it.
Awesome. Well, I'm a professional organiser. And as you may note by my blurred background, even when you do organisation for a living, things do not go according to plan. So I had driven to a beautiful backdrop and then it started raining. So now I'm live streaming from the car. Beautiful. Because that's just, we adapt and we overcome, which if I've learned anything from being an organiser and helping different families create organisation in their home, it's definitely that there is no set solution for everyone and you need to make it up on the fly. Kind of sounds like I don't know what I'm doing, but you need to assess what's actually happening in that environment and then be able to, you know, adapt and make changes. You may find that something that worked for the last client that I've had doesn't actually work for the next one.
Absolutely. I think that's part of business too, organisation and business, you know.
Isn't it just? It's honestly a part of life. But so Sort My Space started 2019, and I originally started wanting to do like the labels and the personalization and, you know, selling the beautiful containers so you could decant your pantry and make it all Insta worthy. Then enter baby number one.
Nice.
So that was like, cool. Yeah, this is good. Park it here. And then picked it back up again. And then baby number two came because I just like to get that stuff done. And then I was on my second round of maternity leave and I was watching a beautiful girlfriend of mine who was in the finance industry, and she had decided she wanted to stop and chase her life stream to become a doula. She just recently had baby number two as well. And it was honestly watching, if you and any of the ladies out there that have watched their best friend, you know, someone they love, chasing that fire in their belly and watching it light them up, it is so infectious. And I question your sanity if you don't look at them then and go, oh my God, I need that as well. What is my this? And I sort of had a good little hard look at myself, and I thought, oh my goodness, you fool. It's not the labels, it's the actual doing of the organising. It's that playing Tetris in real life and then helping families or just individuals breathe easier because I've created a solution that helps make their life it's just one less thing off that mental load that they don't have to deal with anymore.
I love that what did you say? Mental Tetris?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Playing Tetris, but that mental load.
Yeah, I love that. Actually, when you said that, it made total sense to me because, look, I'm going to admit here, I'm not naturally, and you can probably tell by stuff you can see on my floor in the background.
No, not
I am not naturally a very organised person in my household. I love to be organised in business, but when it comes to my household out there, you would probably die if you saw it right now.
I'm sure it's not that bad.
Oh,
anyway. I really love the virtual background you've applied. It looks very natural.
Oh, thank you. Yes, the virtual background is a background. Yeah. Good morning. We've got Sam and Claire joining us. Good morning, lovely ladies. So I know that the topic that you wanted to speak on today was organising and working smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
Now, I really love this, especially also, and as I said, for someone who likes to be organised in business, but also needs to and wants to be more organised in life. Let's have a chat about that.
Yeah.
So how you help people to actually, work smarter, not harder, or be organised smarter, not harder.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's so many different avenues that can go down. I guess the first thing, working smarter and not harder for me is all about, I guess, removing that fear with things like in implementing an AI into the home. So having like a Google or an Alexa or something. And it has just, I was very quick on the uptake for that. Those Googles came out, and I think I brought one for the, let's try this. And then before the end of the week, I had one in every single bedroom, any living space. We nearly have one in the toilet, but that's decided not to talk to her there. It's fine.
Probably a good thing.
Yeah. But, my husband's in there for 45 minutes, so I feel like he might get lonely. At least then I could broadcast to him and be like, what are you doing, mate?
Do you really want to know, though?
No, honestly. Can you get out and help me with these kids? But I really like just the little things that it can do. Recently, a few years ago, but we recently moved to a new home, and in the kitchen, classic setup, 3 pendant lights over the kitchen island, and then there was 2 main down lights in the kitchen, and they all converged onto one switch. So the beautiful ambience that gets created by having your pendant lighting was completely removed by these massive halogen globes beaming down on you in the kitchen. So it lit up like you could see everything, pick up all the crumbs. It was wonderful for cleaning, but there was just then no mood lighting or a subtle way to light up the house just while we were eating dinner. You kind of felt like you were, in a police, I assume a police interrogation room being, do you like your broccoli? So, through, the ease of just a quick trip to Kmart, grab some of those Mirabella smart bulbs that are often up near the customer service and tech area, and then change the 2 down lights to be smart bulbs and then the 3 pendant lights to be smart bulbs. So now I've actually split them. That switch stays on at the wall all the time, but Google turns the lights on and off in a certain sequence. So now I've been able to, so without even having to go so far as, have a electrician come back out and, rewire the home and crawl up into the roof and split things out and do what that is. We've been able to just, the down lights are set to being the kitchen and the pendant lights are set to a room called the family room.
And so you've done all this through Google?
Yeah. So now Google can just turn the lights on in the family room, which then turns the pendants on. And then there's another light over near the television as well that she turns on. So that open plan living then gets a really nice soft light that's very sufficient for daily living.
I'm fascinated by this.
And if I want to turn on something a little bit more hardcore, I can holler out to her and tell her to turn on the kitchen lights.
So something I'm hearing here, this is fascinating. And remember too that, I'm 50 almost, right? Someone who, and I have to admit, has not yet embraced technology such as this, even though it's been around for a while. I don't have any Google or Alexa or whatever it is in my household.
Oh my God, are you manually turning your lights on?
I know, right? Yeah, dude, I'm old school. But I'm listening to this and I'm going, okay, what you're saying actually makes a lot of sense. And so it's not just about, so like organising is not just about the physical organisation. It's about, like you say, the mood. And I would never have thought of using something like a Google thing, whatever you call it, to help with organisation. I think I'm fascinated. I really am.
And honestly, little things, so there's sequences built into like the Google as well. You can wake up and say, good morning, Google, and she will give you, you can pre-select the type of newspapers you want to hear the headlines from. She'll give you a summary of the weather and let you know what's in your calendar. And if you happen to be commuting to an office, she would go, you know, the commute today will take you 25 minutes in moderate traffic. So, you know, so you can just get a really nice summary of, and I find it amazing, and then it still blows my mind, even though it's something that we do every day. But it's incredible to think that something like, it's almost like a PA, but just she's in your home doing silly little stuff that just makes things easier as well.
Yeah, little stuff that makes things easier. It's like, and you might get a laugh out of this. I remember when I first got a smartphone.
Mm-hmm.
And when all this type of technology came out, all of a sudden, like, my smartphone would be on the couch, and all of a sudden it would talk to me going, oh, your commute to work is now 20 minutes. And I'm like, what do you mean? I didn't ask you. That's great, but I didn't ask.
That's it.
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that honestly, that really fascinates me. So I also noticed that something that you do, while I said, as I've mentioned to you before we came on the interview, that I was gently stalking you. Now you do.
By the way, we're out of milk. No.
Yeah, that's right. So you do labels as well. Is that part of the service that you provide?
Yes. So to be hypothetically, if you'd booked me to come in and say, zhuzh your pantry, I would do some basic labels in that, you know, just with the dymo to get things started. And then in the event you wanted to go down that vinyl label into the canisters, you know, if that's the vision you were trying to create in your pantry, then that's something I can do as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, so you know, the brown rice and then the white rice, or the self-raising flour, or you just leave those unlabeled and then you just roll that dice, right?
Well, that's again thinking about my pantry. You might laugh at this or not, but you know those Makona jars where you get the coffee. I keep all those jars. My partner, like, I don't drink coffee, but my partner goes through coffee like it, you know, like nothing. So we constantly have these big jars. So all our
the
rice
big 400.
But it's all unlabeled.
Yeah.
So it is. It's like rolling a dice. Is that self-raising flour, or, you know, and plain? Well, I don't know.
Look, and you're all good for caster sugar, you know, to taste that. But I tell you what, if you lick your finger and do a big, no, that's flour.
That wasn't sugar. That's salt.
Here's a little something that may or may not be useful for you with the Makona jars, because I'm all about, you know, using what's around and stuff, and I definitely don't like to be dragging customers, you know, clients to the store to be like, we're going to need $300 dropped in Kmart to, you know, make this happen. When if you reasonably, you know, consume coffee like that, using those Makona jars is definitely a more sustainable and environmentally friendly way to do this. But did you know you can take the plastic cap off the lid, and you could actually put a sample of something in the top, which we've done with our sprinkles. And so the hundreds and thousands are in the lid. It takes a bit of work. I honestly have to get a teaspoon. It's not a finger job, but you can fill that. So you could, you know, hypothetically have some coffee beans, or you could have a couple of pieces of penne or some spiral pasta, and then you would know always what's supposed to go back in that jar. Wouldn't really help with the flour thing, because you'd have no way of testing that. But a lot of people don't know that you can actually manage to get in there if you have.
I didn't know that. I'm going to tell both my daughter and my daughter-in-law that, because the reason, because I have so many Makona jars, they're all, I supply the whole family.
I love it.
Obviously, I supply the whole family with Makona jars. I'm going to tell them that. That's a fantastic tip. Oh, I'm just fascinated. So tell me, Tamara, when you go into someone's house, what's the general, you know, kind of thing that you would help them with?
Most popularly, is that a word?
That'll
figure that out later.
It works.
Yeah. typically I am usually either called in to help with a pantry or a wardrobe. So very often a client will reach out and they are just exhausted and sick of getting dressed from the clean clothes pile on the accent chair in the corner, and they don't know how to reasonably make all of their clothes fit into the wardrobe anymore. And so whether we actually need to do some decluttering, which if we're doing that, I bring in the KonMari method approach that I've been trained in, or even just changing the folding style in the drawers and stuff into that KonMari, that really tight little parcel, and then vertically stacking things into the drawer can almost double your capacity to either hold clothes or be able to buy more clothes.
Let's talk about that. I'm really curious because this is also something that my daughter, she tried to teach me. So what exactly is the KonMari style? To explain us, if for those who don't know, what is it?
Sure. So Marie Kondo had a Netflix special that came out in 2019, and she's also created the KonMari method. And so that is an approach to home organization and decluttering that stems, it goes by category. So very often when people are trying to organize, they tend to go by room. So you might walk into the bedroom and want to attack that room, which, look, if you're operating on a really tight time frame, that yes, there is reasons why that might be the approach. But without gathering all of that one category of items together, you never really get a full understanding of how much you own. So if you've got I can even put my hand up to this myself. I've got our clothes in our wardrobe, and then for my husband and I, but in my son's wardrobe, because he's one and his clothes are so little, I might have some spare clothes. So unless you gather all of the clothes together, you don't really understand how much you own, because it's not all in one place. And yes, conveniently, it's understandable if storage is tight, or even just by location, to have certain duplicates of certain things in some rooms. Scissors are one for me. I do not like to have to go far to get a pair of scissors. But yeah, it's very much about bringing everything together and then looking at it from an approach of, what do I want to keep as opposed to what do I want to get rid of? So so to take that one step further, if you gathered all of your clothes together and looked at them, whether you've dumped them on the bed or on the spare bed or wherever, there'll be something that you can see in that pile that without a shadow of a doubt you love that item. And it is, whether you feel sexy or confident, or you just love the way it looks on you, and everybody, oh my God, you should always wear that color. And you're like, duh. I mean, yes, thank you. That's the feeling that you should be having with your items. And clothes is always a really good place to start, because they look reasonably are so replaceable. It's not like there's always certain pieces that you can't get again, which then they maybe tend to fall into a sentimental category. But yeah, you could reasonably get rid of this yellow top that you won't actually put on, and then in the event that you need another yellow top, you could go and find something that fits better or sits nicer, or and you'll have that opportunity to replenish what you perhaps moved on from.
Yes, I like that, moved on from. Yeah, and for example, if something's not fitting you properly anymore, again, I'm 50, my body's changed. Things aren't fitting me like they used to. So
there's a step of that at 30 as well. You're like, oh, I'm not 20 anymore.
Yes. And of course, having children as well, that changes everything. So something that I've been thinking, like, as you've been talking, now I want to put this delicately. do you help with people who might have an abundance of things in their household? I don't want to use the word hoarder because I don't like that word. I don't know if you know what you think about that word, but that's just me personally. You know, how do you help people like that?
Yeah, so it's funny that I feel like that term, it gets a bit thrown around a little bit like OCD, and I'm like, oh,
I agree.
That actually has a lot more clinical definition behind it. Like, you know, if you, look, I have a psychology degree, so we won't unpack that right now.
Okay, let's not do that.
But yeah, so honestly, people tend to be labeled, you know, a hoarder by themselves or even their partner or a family member a lot earlier than I would deem necessary. But there, a lot of the time, I think the biggest projects I've had are clients who have maybe downsized from, say, a 5-bedroom home where they raise their family, that now they might be widowed, or it's just the couple living together and they've condensed everything into a 2-bedroom home. And of course, it looks excessive. You know, you do start to then have a room that starts to, you know, mirror a rabbit warren, because there is an excess of stuff. And in those instances, sorry, my Siri's joining us into the conversation. In those instances, taking that KonMari approach is a really nice, gentle way to, you know, identify and then learn how to sustainably continue as you move forward, identify what you want to keep and what you're ready to part with, for whatever reason, whether it's just no longer serving you and you don't need it, or it's, you know, it's just time.
Yeah, I got to say, again, as you're talking, I wish we had known about you when my parents actually moved from their house. It was a huge house, like that they built, you know, way back when they got married in 1970. And this huge house, and they moved and they condensed it into, it was a very small 3-bedroom home. So we had a 5-bedroom home, then moved to a 3-bedroom home. The amount of I want to say crap, but it wasn't crap. It was like stuff that they had built up from this, you know, this family over the years with 3 kids. What do we have at the time? 4 grandchildren they had, you know, and all of this stuff, but condensing it. And it was a what do I want to say? It was difficult for my parents to let go of a lot of this stuff, you know, that had sentimental meaning to them.
Absolutely. And, you know, to drop an elephant into this, but my my father got lost at sea and in 2012, and we've never found him.
My goodness.
He's you know, technically a missing person now, just presumed dead, but in all fairness, if you'd ever met my dad, for him to ring me one day and be like, hey, come to Sweden and meet your baby brother, I'd be like, righto. Like, okay, Dad. Thanks, mate. Where you been? But anyway, I digress. So we, you know, there's some sentimental items that I have of his that are clothes. You know, so they're extra large business type Hawaiian t-shirts, you know, and I just don't need them necessarily displayed in the home, but so in that instance, meaningfully storing them. So I know we've got them. They have been, you know, honored in that they're stored neatly and folded and cleanly and put away. But I've kept them because they're special to me. And eventually I'll have those discussions with my children, and I would love them to have met Poppy Bruce, but that's just not to be. So I think this is that next best thing. But whereas if you hypothetically were to come into my home, you might find this random plastic container that has these, you know, four shirts that don't fit any of our family members or fit all of us together. And you'd be going, all right, Tam, what, you don't maybe need this? But there's a lot behind that. And I like to really honor that decision, or just even the association that you have with those items, because I don't feel that it's it's fair for anyone else to step into your life and tell you how you're allowed to feel about your things.
Oh yeah, I love that. Yeah, I respect that. And I was similar when my mum passed. I have a box of a few items of her clothing, even her perfume, that I keep in this box. I know it's there. I know where it is. And, you know, it's something that I will never part with because it means so much to me. Even on another level, without digressing too much, you know, from my first marriage, I still have our wedding photos. And the reason I have them is because he's the father of my children. Right. And I want to eventually, you know, pass them on to them.
Yeah.
So these are things that will never go. But it's a matter of, like you said, and I love the way you put this, storing it meaningfully.
Yeah. So it doesn't necessarily need to be out and on display, because in that instance, it, you know, could potentially be disrespectful to your new spouse.
Yes.
But yeah, it's still, it's lovely. You know, if you know that you own it, it's not something that you're going to forget that you've got. So if you are just feeling a particular, you know, it's always some idle Tuesday at 4 p.m, you know, and you start really missing mum, to be able to go to that box and open it and, you know, smell her perfume, which I'm very jealous about, but Brute was disgusting. And so I didn't need to smell that.
No,
classic
we
old
pulled
man
it out.
smell.
We pulled it out once. I pulled out this perfume in front of my daughter, who, like, my mum was like a second mum to my children, to her grandchildren. And so I pulled this perfume out of the blue one day, and I held it under my daughter's nose, and she just burst into tears. Because she went, "Oh my God, that's grandma." And so I was so sorry. I felt, "Oh my God, I didn't know you'd have that reaction."
Yeah.
But we're digressing.
No, but
so this is really fascinating. So if there's someone out there, Tamara, looking for your types of services, how can they get in touch with you?
So I hang out mostly on my website, which seems weird, but the little chat box at the bottom, I'm actually behind that. So my watch will have a little ping and it's like, "Oh, you've got a visitor." And I'm like, "Oh, hey, I'm here. Do you need me? Do you have questions? What are you doing?"
Oh, I love it. It's a real person.
Yeah, exactly. I know. And then it's funny because I was like, again, digressing, right? But I remember saying to someone, like, "No one ever talks to me on there." And then I thought about it and I was like, I don't actually talk to anybody on their chat box because I think that they're a robot, and I don't want to talk to a robot. I want to talk to a person. So funny. But other than, sorry.
No, that's all right. Keep going.
Yeah. Other than that, so I'm at www.sortmyspace.com.au. And then sortmyspace.com.au is my Facebook and Instagram handle. And then I also have a TikTok, which I highly recommend not following, because that was my dry run for Instagram Reels.
I hear you, girlfriend. Oh, gotcha.
But technically I have a profile. It's just very unloved. And I am in the process of building up my Pinterest, which is Sort My Space AU. But,
beautiful. So I think I saw on your website where you can go to there's a links page where you can go and find all those links. Would you like to share that link after this interview in the comments?
Yep, in the comments, absolutely.
So that anyone who wants to go find you, talk more to you, do you offer like a free chat or an in-house service or anything like that?
Yeah, so if you're between sort of, you know, Tweed Heads-ish and Brisbane, I can easily actually come over and help physically. But I'm also about to roll out a session, which I just can't figure out a name for yet, hence why it's not been launched. But it will, the service would be, you know, you would book in a session and we would either do it via Zoom or in person, and I would then give you an action plan and a shopping guide to help you be able to sort of DIY the pantry or the wardrobe, or, you know, the garage if you're not parking the car in there, or any of those services as well. So there's a couple of different services. That new one will be live on the website, let's say before the end of the month. Maybe I'll make a decision.
Now you've said it, you have to do it, don't you?
I know, right? I'll be like, unnamed is available.
Put it out there publicly. Just whack a name up and you can always change it later. That's what I reckon.
That's it.
All right, Tamara, it has been fascinating to speak to you. So if you can pop that link in the comments afterwards, that would be great. But yeah, I love what you do. Someone like me, like I said, who isn't terribly organised out in the home, really, need your services. So thank you for what you do. I think it's amazing. And I've learned a lot today. I've learned, especially about those Makona jars. I can't wait to go and do that now. I'm going to actually go and try and rip the plastic bit off.
Highly recommend getting a spoon. Do not risk your fingernails. I've snapped many a tip off a nail.
I don't have any of them, but I'm going to get a spoon and give that a go. Thank you so much, Tamara. It's been wonderful speaking to you today.
At all. Thanks for having me, Ali. I really appreciate it. And can I just say kudos to you. I don't know if it's exhausting at your end, but I love how present you are on social media. I really feel like you are just 10 out of 10 for reliability, and you've just got all of the, so I don't know if you've managed to find a way to do that, because you did say you're a bit more organized in business, but without burning the candle at both ends. But well done.
Oh, thank you, darling. Well, it is what I do. That's what I help people get organised on social media. I think to help people it's the same thing, isn't it? You're helping people get organised in life. I'm helping people get organised in business. To help people get organised, you need to be organised. So
exactly.
I'm going to take that. I'm going to say thank you very much. I really appreciate that. All right, my beautiful girls. So we will see you next Thursday for another interview. Once again, if you would like to be interviewed for one of our business member spotlights interviews, please get in touch with me. Either myself or my assistant Parme will be in touch with you to book you in for a time. Again, lovely talking with you, Tamara.
Oh, thank you. I was like, just do it.
Yeah, no, it's fun. All right, ladies, we'll see you next week. Bye.